Hello everyone and welcome to my video. This is the second part of talking about Navy bases I have been stationed or have visited. In the last video, I talked about all the places I had been while I was a corpsman, and when I commissioned as an officer, I went to Officer Development School, or ODS, which is located in Naval Station Newport in Newport, Rhode Island. So this base also houses the Naval War College, Officer Candidate School, and other senior enlisted and officer training programs. On this base, you will see formations of students marching or running through the streets, and it is a very clean, well manicured base. So, not to say that other bases aren't, they basically are all well maintained, but for some reason, when I was on Newport, it just seemed especially well kept. There are all the things on this base that you'll see that cater to naval students, such as a barber shop, a uniform shop, and a Navy lodge. Newport is a beautiful coastal New England town with good seafood restaurants and historic sites, and the locals are very welcoming to military personnel. After officer development school, I went to the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. This was my first duty station as a nurse. I absolutely loved it there. It did get hectic and I was burnt out by the time I left, but I really learned a lot while I was there. So Walter Reed is considered one of the big three naval hospitals. The other two are Naval Hospital Balboa in California and Naval Hospital Portsmouth in Virginia. Walter Reed is a huge hospital and it's located right across the street from the National Institutes of Health, or NIH. Walter Reed is located in a busy metropolitan area in the DMV area. So DMV stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and is located where basically all three of these states kind of intersect. Walter Reed is a joint hospital, so I worked with Army nurses, and there were a few Air Force nurses as well. And when I was there, a couple of times on different units, I had an Army department head. Parking is absolutely atrocious, so most people took the metro since the hospital is located right along the red line. Bethesda is super expensive to live, and there's no base housing on this base, so most people lived further down in Rockville, Silver Spring, or in Virginia. Traffic around this area is crazy. I would even venture to say it's maybe worse than LA traffic. It was horrible. Um, so I definitely recommend living somewhere along the metro line. And there are snow days where I was expected to still go to work, even though the rest of the area isn't supposed to go to work. Like, let's say, like all the outpatient clinics, they didn't have to go to work, but the inpatient people, we can't close down the hospital. We were still expected to go to work. So if you don't have a car that's able to drive through the snow, it would be beneficial to live somewhere near the metro. You can visit the White House while you're here, the National Mall, all of the Smithsonian museums, which are free, by the way. Since this base is so close to DC, you can visit all of those things. It's really a cool area to be in. Walter Reed is also where the president and family and other government VIPs are seen by medical doctors and personnel. So it is not uncommon for the elevators to be shut down and you see Secret Service agents guarding the doors until the VIPs leave the hospital. Walter Reed also has a huge wounded warrior program, so there are many war veterans who are cared for here, and this base feels more like an annex than a large base because there's no housing or other common things you see on big bases. There's no commissary on this base either. It's located on another base within the area. After Walter Reed, I went to Naval Hospital, Okinawa, Japan. It's an overseas hospital located in the Ryukyu Island chains of Japan. And the Naval Hospital is located on Camp Foster, which is a Marine Corps base. This base has a ton of military housing, a commissary, an exchange, different fast food restaurants like Popeyes, Taco Bell, and Subway. There are playgrounds, daycares, and schools. The gym on Camp Foster is open 24/7 and is awesome. If you are an officer or have a family, also known as dependents in the military, you are able to live off base. While some people speak English, most locals speak Japanese, and you definitely get to experience the Okinawan culture. There are delicious ramen and sushi restaurants, beautiful beaches with clear ocean water. I definitely recommend getting your scuba dive cert here if you don't already have it. You can also go snorkeling, and there's malls and lots of stores to go shopping. The Okinawans are very respectful and they live a very peaceful life, and my family loved living there. There are a lot of other bases located on the island, such as Camp Lester, which is another Marine Corps base, Kadena, which is an Air Force base, Tori, which is an Army base, and then a lot more other Marine Corps bases like the airfield of Futenma and Camp Schwab, to name a few. So after Okinawa, I went back to Camp Pendleton to Med Battalion, which I already talked about in part one of this video series. I was never stationed in Naples, Italy, but I have been there many times and can speak a little bit about it. It has base housing, but you can also live off base as an officer. And there's a commissary, an exchange, fast food restaurants as well. There's also schools, daycares, and gyms. Naples is an awesome place to be stationed, to travel around Europe, because it's very convenient to take the train to see other parts of Europe. And when you're stationed overseas, there's usually an MWR office, which stands for Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, which organizes trips around the area so you can experience different sites and activities in the local areas. I am sure I probably left out some of the bases I have visited, but these are the ones I am more familiar with. So I hope this has given you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be stationed on a military base. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, and thank you for watching my video.